This is a tutorial on how to use the PPPalette Unity asset. Hello and welcome. PPPalette is a powerful Unity tool that makes it easy to extract existing color palettes or create brand new ones for your textures, all without leaving Unity. It comes packed with features such as color grouping and bulk editing, multiple palette presets in a single asset, runtime palette switching and editing exportable palette tables, palette baking directly into textures, and sprite exporting, just to name a few. It also includes a powerful VFX Uber shader, featuring a wide range of unique effects and dozens of effect combinations. Let's get started with the workflow. After importing the asset into your project, go to Tools, Reamplyfied, and select the PPPalette window. Next, create a PPPalette asset. To do that, go to your project files, right-click, select Create, then PPPalette, and choose PPPalette Asset. Once that is created, drag and drop it into the PPalette field in the PPPalette window. Right-click the asset and select Properties. Then dock the PPalette asset properties next to the PPPalette window. Now let's add the sprites we want to create a palette for. You can either drag and drop the sprites themselves into the window, or drop the folder containing all the sprites. It is recommended to drop the entire folder so that all the colors from the sprite group are added and the structure of your folder and subfolders is preserved during sprite export. However, make sure there are no unwanted sprites in the folder, otherwise extra colors may be added to the palette. Let's quickly go through the features of the PPPalette window. On the left side of the window, you will find the list of sprites to process. Each sprite has a preview button for displaying it in the preview area, its index position in the list, and an add button that shows the number of colors in that sprite which are not yet present in the palette. This button can be used to add only those specific missing colors. Lastly, there is a remove button for removing the sprite from the list. A clear list button is also available at the top of the list. On the right side of the window, there is an Add All Colors to Palette button. Use this button to automatically add all the colors from the sprite list into the palette. Below that are the Export Sprites and Export Palette buttons. We will come back to those later in the video. The next row contains the preview area utilities, including a play button to loop through a chosen range of sprite indices, an FPS control, and a background selector. Let's proceed by adding all the colors to our palette asset. Now all the colors have been added. Next, let's create a group. Click the Add Group button and type in the group name. Let's start with the hair. With that set, go to the preview area, zoom in, and start picking the colors. Click on a colored pixel and the corresponding color will automatically be selected in the editable palette of the PPalette asset. The selected color is highlighted with a small round icon at the top left corner of the swatch. Drag and drop that color into the group. You can use the group's alpha setting handle to verify whether all the desired colors have been added to that group. Notice that all colors added to a group show a small square icon at the bottom right corner of the swatch. This helps you identify colors that are already grouped. You can also check which group a color belongs to by hovering over it for a few seconds. A color can only exist in one group. If you want to move a color to a different group, use the Remove button next to that color in its current group. Then drag it from the palette into the new group. With that done, I will quickly add all the sprite colors into their appropriate groups. Done. For this sprite, I was able to group all 26 of its colors into 6 groups: hair, body, jumpsuit, shirt, shoes, and eyes. At this point, creating other palette variants becomes as simple as adjusting the group settings. But before making any modifications, I recommend saving the original palette first. Click the Save Current as Preset button to save the current state as a preset. You can use this button anytime you want to save your current modifications as a new palette preset. With that done, I'll now start modifying the group settings to create new palette presets. Keep in mind that you still have the ability to modify each individual color inside the group. Use the Reset button next to each color to restore its original value. Each group also has an Exclude from Palette toggle. This is used to exclude all the colors in that group from the export palette. This is useful for groups you do not want to modify, such as skin color. Notice that the total color count is reduced when this is enabled. This also reduces the number of color searches performed during palette swapping, which helps eliminate unnecessary computation. Now we have our original color palette and 2 new palettes. You can create as many presets as you want within a single PPPalette asset. The next step is to assign these color palettes to our sprite. In the hierarchy, create or select a game object with a sprite renderer and the sprite attached. The sprite's read-write option must be enabled in the texture import settings for palette swapping to work. This is automatically handled by the PPPalette window as soon as you drop the sprites in. If a sprite does not have read-write enabled, you will receive an error log in the console prompting you to enable it. Next, create a new material and assign it to the sprite renderer. Go to the Material shader, then PPPixel shader, and select the PPalette shader that matches your project's render pipeline. In this project, we are using the Universal Render Pipeline. The last thing we need to do is add the swapper script. This script automatically handles communication between the PPalette asset and the PPalette shader, so you do not need to write any code. Once the swapper script is added, assign the PPalette asset to the palette field, and we're done. Make sure the Enable Palette Swap toggle is turned on. Then select a preset from the Palette Preset dropdown. PPPalette Swapper also handles per-object color swapping in both the editor and at runtime. This means you can have multiple duplicates of the same object using different palette presets while still sharing a single material and a single PPPalette asset. PPPalette also gives you the ability to swap and edit palettes at runtime. To do that, let's create a new script. All you need to do is inherit from the PPPalette runtime controller script, save it, and let's take a look. Now our script displays a runtime palette, preset field, and a group preferences list. Enter play mode, and now we can switch between different palette presets. The group preferences allow you to apply modifications to your color palettes at runtime. This makes it possible to add character customization to your game, or create unique effects like a cloak of invisibility by setting the closed group alpha to 0, or affecting only specific parts of a group, such as the body. These parameters can also be easily accessed and modified through script at runtime. Let's loop through the first group's hue offset at runtime. Always remember to call the PPPixel refresh palette runtime method after modifying the palette through script. Save the script and let's run the project. There you go. The palette group is now being modified at runtime. The PPPixel palette shader also offers a wide variety of unique shader effects and combinations. Be sure to check out the shader effect examples included in the asset. Lastly, let's go back to the PPPixel palette window and look at the export buttons. Use the Export Sprites button to bake in and export the sprites with the currently applied preset. The output preserves your folder and subfolder structure, keeping everything clean and organized. The Export Palette button allows you to export the current palette preset table for external use. This video tutorial should have covered everything you need to get started. For further guidance, please refer to the documentation and example scenes included in the asset. Thank you for following along.